From the campus at Northern State University, this is an EdTech podcast for South Dakota teachers. Hello, Dr. Frankham here for another week of our podcast, and I am glad to be here with you. So one of the things that I want to talk about today, well, mainly the one thing that I want to talk about today, involves motivation for learning. And I think a lot of teachers ask this in their classes. How do I motivate my students to learn? What are some ways that I can motivate them? The reason why I'm talking about motivation on an educational technology podcast is because a lot of times people think that technology is what motivates students. It's the bells and whistles, right? They get to see a cool animation. They get to hear a cool noise, or whatever else the technology offers. So motivation and technology have often been linked as a good learning tool. We thought that technology should be there because it motivates students to learn. Let's use technology, it motivates students. But that's not necessarily the case. Motivation and technology don't always go hand in hand. And really what motivates students is not necessarily the technology, it's the deeper concepts of motivation that could come through use of technology or without, that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so again, motivation is not necessarily provided by technology. It's provided by what the technology could offer or may offer, the principles of motivation that have been discovered through research and through study. And so what I want to do is talk first about intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation and differentiate these two terms, and then talk about a model to support motivation in your classroom, and then tie it back into how technology might be a motivating factor as long as it uses those principles of motivation. So first of all, intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation.